Hi you guys, it's your girl Jelly, as told by Inez on IG. Real Sisters, Real Talk. Go check out my page or website, realsistersrealtalk.com. And I am back, you guys, with the Bible Basics. And so, as you know, I have been on a series with the Bible Basics, basically just teaching the foundations of the Bible. Again, don't think me as pastor and all that. I don't think I'm there yet. But God, never know where he may lead me. But I know I can teach the basics of the Bible. I know that. I remember my stories from old time. And of course, I've done the 10 Commandments. I've done Noah's Ark, Adam and Eve, Joseph and the many colors of his coat. And now it is time for the David and Goliath series. And so this is very, very special to me because, again, God speaks to you in many different ways. I have my insecurities on different things, especially if I'm not, I wouldn't say knowledgeable, but again, not very comfortable in certain aspects of talking about things. And God would check me in a good way. He'll either put scripture or sermons or words in my life where I need to hear, and I'm listening to it for a whole different other reason, but he'll give me things to say from that or inspire me in different ways where everyone may not be, I wouldn't say called, or you may be fearful, but as God is with you and he's speaking through you, that's all you really need. So all right, guys, I'm gonna do y'all. I listen. And so you guys, the story of Goliath, David and Goliath, I always tell you guys, I'm not going to give you a scripture per se in the verse. I will, reference to it, but read the whole chapter. So it's 1 Samuel 16 through 18. It's kind of the David and Goliath story, and it kind of gives you pretext and, a little bit aftertext, but read the whole 1 Samuel chapter if you can. But those are the whole first, whole first chapter. So that's not whole first chapter, the whole, 1 Samuel. Just read that. And so in 1 Samuel 16, when it first started, they were actually looking for David. Samuel, he was a king in his own right, but Saul was a king somewhere else. But Samuel was basically looking for somebody because God told King Samuel, that he had somebody that is worthy to be king. And at first Samuel thought it was Saul, but Saul, like crazy, and it's not Paul Saul, another Saul in the Bible, was acting a little cuckoo. And so he was basically was like, no, that's not him, somebody else. And so that made King Samuel go out and try to find the person that he was supposed to anoint. And he came across someone named Eliab, and I sorry if I'm butchering these names. And Eliab had a few sons, and so Samuel was looking around and was like, what's going on? Is this the person I'm supposed to anoint? God was like, no. He's like, is this the person I'm supposed to anoint? God was like, no. But then 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7, it said, but the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. So the Lord looks at what's in your heart. And David may not have been big in gancher and size and stature. I'm making up words, in stature. But he was big in his heart. And his heart was just so big and full of love. And so God was like, yeah, you're gonna anoint him. Let's anoint him. And so Samuel in verse 13, so Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the presence of his brothers, and from that day on the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon David. And Samuel then went to Ramah, and so he left. But again, what was so crazy, and a lot of people reference this, and I didn't know that too till people referenced it. If I would have got anointed, I think that's what God's working on me. I'd be like, okay, I ain't about to be tending this sheep. But no, David literally stayed tending the sheep after he was anointed. He still stayed in service. And I think that's why God trusted him in the different things. And that's what I'm learning too, to stay in service regardless of titles and things like that. And it was so crazy. It was my pastor was talking about that today. I said, God be showing up and showing out. always. So it's always good to reference that. But again, when your spirit is open, God is going to tell you things in many different ways. Again, it's not a voice like this is what you're supposed to do, but he will send people to you. He will give you messages and things like that, and it's up to you to discern it and figure it out. And so moving forward to 1 Samuel chapter 16, it's 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 14. Now the Spirit of the Lord had departed from Saul. Remember I told you about Saul? Not Paul Saul, the other Saul. And the evil spirit from the Lord tormented him. And it was, I don't think it was from the Lord, period. But again, he was like, okay, Saul, you acting crazy. The devil and the demons going to be playing around with you. And so I made that voice out to kind of pretext Saul and his sarcasm in the next chapter. So basically, the Philistines were trying to attack, David and the people. And David was trying to attack the Israelites. And so David was, his brothers told him to go take some, his dad told him to go take some bread and some food to his brothers. And he ended up seeing that they were getting punked out by the Goliath. And David was like, in 1 Samuel 17 verse 26, he was like, David asked the men standing near him, what would be done for the man who kills this Philistine and removes this disgrace from Israel? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? David was like, I walk with God, so why is y'all scared of him? And David is yeehaw to the grasshopper. David was like, what's going on? What's compared to Goliath, who was like 9 feet tall at that time, almost 10 feet tall. And David was like, so we walk with God, so why is y'all upset? And so verse 28, it said, when Eli, David's older brother, heard him speaking with the men, he was mad and asked, why have you come down here? And with whom did you lead the sheep to? Because you're supposed to be out there. Are they in the wilderness just scattered about? He's like, I know how conceited you are, how wicked your heart is. You came down here only to watch the battle. So he's like, you only came down here so you see watch us get beat up. Like, first off, it makes a lot of sense that it just shows that regardless of the times, family would get you. And David ignored him and was like, now what have I done? Said David, can I even speak? That right there cracked me up, because David was like, I wasn't even talking to you, but I'm just giving y'all some enthusiasm. And it sounded like me, because I'm just trying to, encourage y'all, and you acting like I said something so bad. But it was funny, because then he turned to someone else, was like, since you don't want to listen, let me talk to them and see if they go listen. And one of the men answered him and was like, but David had said, but David was continuing to talk to him, but somebody overheard him and reported to King Saul at the time. And Saul was like, all right, but you a little young and you ain't as big to be going out there, and you ain't a warrior, so I guess. But David was like, David basically was like, I think that was verse 35, 34 of 17. He was like, I got this. The Spirit of God walks with me. I'm all I got. I got this. Like, not all I got, but God is all I got, and that's all I need. And David was like, let's go. So, Saul gave him some stuff to put on. David wasn't really used to it. He's like, I guess I wear this, but I got these rocks. I got my slingshot. I'm good to go. And then, so it kind of showed that regardless of the things that you face, from what I took from it, and again, looking at it from a different perspective, back then, it was kind of it's sugar-coated in a way where, oh, no. From what I see now, God if he's with you, can't nobody be against you. Like, and if they are against you, they better be scared and tucking their bridges, because God, I'm telling you, the only one that really matters. Like, I'd rather be on God's side than anybody else's side. And so if God is on my side, I know I'm winning. And even in my life circumstances now, it could be things that, the enemy would try to come to my mind and think, make me think things. But no, God is with me. So I have peace in my circumstances because God is with me. And so that's why David was like, I got this. I was like, okay, David, we got this. We're going to say you got this. So basically, 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 48, as the Philistine moved closer to attack, David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet him. He was like, I'm fearless and wonderfully made. I got this. reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, he slung it and struck it right in the Philistine forehead. So boop, doop, out. This he fell face down on the ground. Not only did David make sure he was down on the ground, he took Goliath's sword and made sure the job was done. I said, okay, David, all right. And it showed everybody, even King Saul, who was being tormented by that evil spirit, that okay, I may not need to. He said God was with him, and God was with him. So, and I may need to watch out for him. And so I may do a second series in regards to why, King Saul was jealous of David. But it's just like, again, if he was going to be, once they see the power of God that's within you, again, David was still humble in the matter. He still, a lot of people remember David danced to his shoes was off. I mean, to his clothes was off. He was just dancing. I was like, okay, David, like, oh. Yeah, I keep reading on for that. But I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, it gave me encouragement to keep going, keep fighting, because it's just like, no matter what you're going through or circumstances, if God is with you, all you need is them rocks and that slingshot. So no matter how big that giant is, God is bigger and God is more powerful. And so it's hard to sometimes keep the faith and walk by faith and not by sight. As y'all see, David did, and he conquered. So I hope you guys enjoyed that David and Goliath story. I have to, because David's story is so big, and the things that he did was just so big and powerful within that the first Samuel, second Samuel. We have to talk about it. He even wrote Psalms. Come on now. So we have to definitely kind of go in and talk about this. So we definitely will. I definitely will do some some nuggets on it, like second series on it in regards to it, but I'll see if God leads me to do that. But I hope you guys enjoyed the David and Goliath story. As always, peace, love, and soul.